the African Heritage Association of St. Louis. That's next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to City Corner. Today we're talking to Gerald Brooks. He's the chairman of the board of the African Heritage Association. Gerald, good to see you again after I don't know how long it's been.
It's been a while, but good to see you. And I'm going to start out right off the bat by saying thank you for helping us reconnect the African Arts Festival to the citizens of St. Louis.
The African Arts Festival is something that's has always been in Forest Park. It's, by the way, this is the 31st annual.
31st. It's been in Forest Park over 20 years.
Wow.
We've held it in
and well, since you bring up how nice it is to see me again, it's because you didn't see anybody for a while. Didn't it? I think the pandemic shut you down the first year, and then you went virtual. How did all that work?
Yeah, it shut us down because the park was shut down, and so the first year, which was 2020. We just had a little something that we did just to keep our name out there for the festival. But last year, we actually had a full festival virtually. Mm-hmm. But this year, we're back. We're back live.
And I think you're a little excited about it.
We're very excited about it. It's like an old friend coming back, you know, and this is the 31st year. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we didn't get to celebrate our 30th year like we wanted to.
Right.
But we're going to have a huge celebration this year.
Mm-hmm. And in the second half of this program, we're going to concentrate on the Arts Festival itself. Mm-hmm. But how did this organization come about in the first place?
Well, the festival was actually founded by our executive director, Cynthia Cosby, in 1991. And then in 1995, we decided that we wanted to do more than just the festival, to connect the St. Louis community with the diaspora of Africa.
I'm surprised because I would have thought the festival came second.
No, the festival was actually first.
Then the organization.
And then the organization. Yeah, the organization grew out of the festival and then became the parent organization for the festival. It is the biggest thing that we present annually. And in 1995, we decided that we would become a nonprofit 501c organization with a 9-member governing board. So with that, we were off and running, but we wanted to do more than just a festival. We wanted to bring information about Africa to the people in many different ways.
I want to ask you about that, but briefly, you mentioned Cynthia Cosby,
mm-hmm.
who was with WashU and
yes.
kind of came up with the festival idea originally.
Yes.
Do you know how that got in her head and what motivated her? Because I would think for the first time, an African Arts Festival must have been like, I mean,
it was a lot smaller than it is right now. I can tell you that. It was just an idea that Cynthia had because she had been attending other festivals around the country, and she said, "We don't have anything like that in St. Louis." And the thing about this festival is that we try to keep it original. We try to keep it so when you walk in, you hear it, you smell it, you see it, you feel it. We try to keep the commercialism out of it and keep it pretty authentic.
And it's in Forest Park.
In Forest Park.
Forest Park Pavilion.
Pavilion, yes.
And it's over the weekend.
Over Memorial Day weekend, runs the 28th of May through the 30th of May.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the organization. Then you're the chairman of the board. You must know everything that's going on.
Well, I don't know. I've been chairman I know it's been more than 10 years that I have been chairman of the board, but it's an organization, as I said, that wanted to bring more information about the African diaspora to St. Louis community.
And why was that important?
Because we just didn't think that there was enough of it there. And although there are now a lot more organizations since we've started in 1995 that do that, but at the time we just thought that there weren't enough organizations presenting that information.
You know, one thing I think that your organization and the festival sort of makes clear is that Africa is just not one thing. You know, maybe some people don't really think about it too much. They think, oh, Africa, that country. But Africa is a whole bunch of countries with a whole bunch of, the cultures are not all the same.
Absolutely. And Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, I've got a list of programs that I'll talk about that we've presented other than the festival. But we did one that ran from September of 2020 through October of 2021, where each week we presented a different country from Africa that made up the continent of Africa. So every week We did it on a Tuesday. You got an information about a different country, its background, its history, and if you had signed up, it came to you automatically by email. You didn't even have to go search for it. It automatically went to your email address.
Well, it seems like the organization and the festival, too, is really like a real good educational experience for people.
It is, and that's what we're all about, and I'm making sure that...
And just for an example, I bet there are a lot of people who live here, like I said, that don't realize that Africa's a continent and
Yeah.
don't realize all the different countries. I'm assuming that you have ancestors from Africa.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean you know a lot about it either if you were born here, right?
Right. But that's the whole idea. And then also, it's not information that's just for African Americans. It's information for everyone. And Africa is 54 countries and 5 islands. So
I didn't realize the islands part.
yeah. So we thought it was really important for folks to know that. And so we started thinking of ways we could do that. So we do it through speakers. We do it through musical programs. We brought in the Soweto Choir from South Africa, and they were performing, and we did that in 2018, and it was at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. In March of 2020, we presented the St. Louis Suits 1812 to 1865 at Washington University.
Say that one again. St. Louis what?
St. Louis Suits. And when people hear that, they're going, Suits? What?
You don't mean suits?
Yeah, no. This was a discussion led by Judge David Mason with a video presentation by Michael Ebermans from the Missouri State Archives. And the discussion talked about lawsuits that were usually based on enslaved people who lived in an area where slavery was prohibited, or being a descendant in the maternal line from a free woman of color. And they were suing for their freedom.
That didn't work out too well, did it?
No, but we actually had copies of the lawsuits, too, on display at this event.
Really?
That was held in Washington, yeah. And then we had another one just last year. We partnered with the St. Louis Art Museum to present a virtual sneak peek of Nubia, Treasures of Africa. And that was an exhibition that was held at the St. Louis Art Museum. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
The exhibit was the works of spanning more than 2,000 years, providing insights into the long and glorious past of the kingdoms that inhabited the Nile River Valley in what is today Sudan. So we partnered with them. I told you about the 54 weeks that we did. So that's the kind of thing that we do. We just keep going, and we've got some other things that are coming up later this year as well.
Are they new things you mean? Or?
Yes, new things.
Well, how often does your organization try to do something?
At least, the festival is annual. We do that every year. Other than that, we try to do at least anywhere from 3 to 4 other programs for the year, be it speakers or a concert of some sort, like the Soweto Choir that comes in. It just depends, and the main thing is to keep that information flowing and keep people interested. And that's the thing about the festival too. We get people of all colors visiting the festival.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. That's a good point to bring up, because I don't know, if you saw a sign African Festival, you might think, well, I'm not African, so
yeah.
I guess I won't go. But it's sort of the point of it is that you should go.
Absolutely, you should go. I mean, any history is for everyone. It's not just for whoever they feel it's for. But sometimes I think people feel exactly like you said. Oh, it's just African history. That's not for me, and that's not true.
Yeah. What do you think some of the misconceptions are? I would think that when all the people you deal with over the year, whether it's at the festival or through other events, I bet a lot of people open up to you about, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
How do you think you impact people?
I think we have a heck of an impact on people, and we really try to have it on everyone. And that's another thing about the festival that you'll hear more about later, but there's something for everyone, and all ages too.
Before we move on, why don't we look at a couple of images from the festival, and you can just tell me what we're looking at, and we'll get more into this in the second half of the program. But let's take a look. There's a crowd.
That is a crowd, and that's audience participation with dancers. And they're on stage as well as down on the ground, excuse me. And they're into the music. And that's what they encourage you to do. And people get up, they have a tendency, they don't care how they look, they're going to try to do whatever's going on.
Have you seen me out ever?
Well,
I fit into that category.
That's one thing I just refuse to do. I won't do that to myself.
Let's look at one more image.
And that's the marketplace. And that's just a piece of it. It takes up the whole pavilion, and people come there. A lot of them wait to do their Christmas shopping and other shopping there because they know they're going to get something unique that they won't find anywhere else.
Well, I know a lot of people are already doing that. I know people that Christmas shop in May. Hey, I saw something on your website. I'm not going to pronounce it right, but I think you'll know what I'm saying. It must be a slogan or something. Jembikuma or something.
Jembikuma.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, it's a phrase dealing with with Africa.
What does it mean?
I don't want to mess up and say the wrong thing, so I'll see if my partner in crime that's coming up can answer that one.
There was another slogan I saw, and I can't remember it entirely, but it was something like remember, reconnect.
Yes, and renew.
And renew.
And that is our theme for the festival this year. And that's exactly what we're asking people to do. Remember how the festival was, reconnect with the festival, and then renew your commitment to continue to come back and enjoy it.
Okay, festival aside then, you've mentioned some of the other things that the organization does through the year. Mm-hmm. What else would you like us to know about?
About the African Heritage Association?
Yeah.
Is that we're here to stay. That we're an organization that has made a commitment to the St. Louis community that we're going to bring you as much information as we can about the African diaspora and keep you informed of what's going on, and to let you know that African history is for everyone, not just African Americans.
What should I know about African history that maybe I don't? I know that's a big question.
How important it is, how much it played on the history of this country, how inspiring it is, how touching it is, and how it, a lot of people who think they may not have an African background, you might want to check and see. Because,
you never know what's.
You never know.
A couple of generations ago, you don't know what's back there.
But it's just a beautiful history, and it's a wonderful history, and it played an important part in what America is today.
I'm just guessing, but I could see a lot of people there do not have African roots coming and learning and being surprised. But I'm just guessing, if your great-grandparents came here 120 years ago and all of a sudden you're here, it's very possible you grew up not knowing much or anything about your homeland.
Right. And people have to remember there are people of color of all shades. There's a reason for that.
Would you like to go into detail?
No. I'll let you do that research yourself.
So you mentioned a few things coming up. Anything you have planned new in the future?
We have that we're trying to line up right now, a speaker for a specific thing, and I don't want to say because it's not finalized. It wouldn't be fair to the speaker or to us, but believe me, you will hear about it when it comes.
Well, how can people support what you do?
Go to our website if you want to volunteer, if you want to donate. If it does, we will take you on anything you want to do if you want to contribute in any kind of way. But go on the website and look us up. Look at what we're doing and check us out and contact us.
You're in Brentwood Plaza. Is there any reason for somebody to come? Is there something to see in the office or?
No, not there. No, that's just where that's our mail, where we receive all of our mail and everything. So.
And you mentioned donations. How does that help you?
It helps us stay alive. I mean, we really had a hard time during the pandemic. I mean, so hard to the fact, Steve, where we actually had to shut down our physical office and start working from our homes because we were trying to save money. But we survived. And through the gracious kindness of folks who continue to support us. But we can always use more support, and so that we can continue to do what we do, including the African Arts Festival.
Well, Gerald, thank you so much for coming and sort of opening our eyes to this. Now, we're not done yet.
No.
In the next segment, Jason McNairy is going to join us to talk more specifically about the festival.
Yes.
So what do you want to tell us about Jason?
Outstanding young man. He's been the co-chair, and now he's chairing the planning committee for years, knows the festival in and out. And without him and his planning committee, the festival could not happen.
All right, it's the African Heritage Association, and when we come back, we'll hear more about the upcoming festival. Gerald Brooks, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for helping us reconnect with.
Good to see you again.
You too.
We'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll have more on City Corner right after this.
There's so many reasons to love St. Louis, you can't pick just one. From the arts, architecture, and culture. An all-new development, including the Cortex Community Center. And you're never too far from great music and entertainment.
So come and experience St. Louis.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. We're talking about the St. Louis African Arts Festival, which is coming up at the end of May. And please welcome Jason McNairy. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having us.
I have one thing to say to you. Jimby Kuma.
Jimby Kuma. Oh.
I was asking Gerald Brooks about that in the first half. Do you have any insight into that?
I believe that it means talking drum.
Talking drums.
Talking drum. And that goes to some of the activities that we have out at the festival. We generally have activities on the main stage that allow us that we have a lot of participation from the audience. They come in. And then we also tend to have a drum session.
I see.
It's usually spontaneous. We don't know when it's going to happen. It's not planned. It's not a part of the schedule. And it usually happens on the backside of the pavilion. And usually artists come in, they pull out their drums, and they all start speaking to each
Okay, now
other.
you tell me, because I certainly don't know what I'm talking about. But when I think about African drums, that was a form of it wasn't just entertainment. It was a way you could communicate over distance, right?
Yes. So villages and tribes could actually communicate and pass messages along to one another using drums, using cymbals, using things like that to be able to talk to one another, pass messages along, talk to family members, warn each other of danger,
Right.
things like that. So,
Well, we have a lot to talk about because this festival has a lot of different components. Why don't we take a look at a couple of pictures we have of festivals of the past, and you can just kind of tell us what we're looking at.
okay.
And we'll get more specific as we go on.
Well, that's from our wonderful marketplace. So we have vendors from pretty much all over the country. Many of them do tend to go back to Africa over the course of the year and bring unique items back to us that you probably can't find anywhere in the United States. So those are African beads. So a lot of them are handmade. So a lot of vendors put a lot of time and energy into creating things just for this festival.
It's nice. Let's look at another one.
That's another image from our marketplace. So that is another, we have statues.
Wow.
Many of them, there's actually a drum back in there while we're talking about talking drums. Masks, which are huge in African culture. Just about, each village, different mask represents different things. Warriors, people who can help with medical issues, educators, teachers. And that was the way how a lot of them actually communicated also, or just letting you know whose tribe is who.
What we're talking about right now is the African Arts Festival. Of course, the African Heritage Association is the organization. Were you involved with the organization before the festival or the other way around?
No, I actually came in to the festival. And I came in.
Did you go as a kid?
I did not, actually. I had no idea that this thing even existed until a wonderful lady by the name of Cynthia Cosby came and the founder plucked me from obscurity and basically invited me in as a committee member. And from there, just, it kind of took over. And once I kind of got involved, I kind of knew that this thing was special from the beginning.
Well, I'm wondering, this is probably African history, I'm just guessing, probably wasn't a big subject in public schools. You growing up here in St. Louis, did you know much about African history at all?
Not really. I mean, other than what we learned in school itself. You know, I'm kind of lucky to be able to have, you know, gone off to college and taking classes in African history, American history, and have kind of learned some other things.
But that's
along
part
there.
of the neat thing about this festival, isn't it? To teach people, no matter what your roots are, about this particular part of the world.
Yes. So it brings to light a lot of things. And of course, we do have events. Most of it all focuses on the getting to know the continent of Africa and all the different flavors that it offers. It doesn't really focus on, of course, like the negative and the things that, you know, that people may not want to know about. But we do have segments, and we do have public speakers that do come out and they do talk about a lot of those things to make it more aware, because a lot of those issues aren't advertised or marketed in the media. So
Let's look at some more images we have from past arts festivals in Forest Park.
yeah, those are from our marketplace as well. Same thing with the masks and the different cultures. I know the fish means something very special. And at the moment, it kind of escapes me as to what the meaning of fish is. But in African culture, it means something very, very, very special.
Well, we've seen some images of the marketplace, but that's just one small segment, because you have music, you have other sorts of entertainment. Tell me all about that.
So we do have music. We have music that generally plays throughout the festival. A lot of the vendors actually provide a lot of music themselves in their booths. We try to make sure that it's not blasting everywhere. But we also have a main stage, and we have local artists that come out and perform on the main stage. Most of them are local. We've had a few over the past years that have been nationally known, but they do come and they perform there. We try to get a lot of community involvement, so like dance studios, you know, children's activities. We try to make sure we put all of that stuff in the forefront.
Now, this is the Arts Festival is happening at the World's Fair Pavilion, and you partner in some way with a lot of the organizations around there, don't you? The Art Museum and other things?
Yes. So we do partner with the St. Louis Art Museum, the Missouri History Museum, the Muni, St. Louis Zoo. They're all our partners. And I believe over some years, you know, there are particular events that we've done in those arenas. Like at the Muni, we also have a movie night. So people can come out to the festival on Saturday, the first day the festival opens, and we have movie night. So we come down, we give you popcorn, you can sit outside up under the Muni sound stage, and you can sit out and watch a movie that we have pre-selected for you to come see.
And the movie probably has some sort of ties to something related to Africa, I assume.
It most certainly does.
Right. Let's look at some more images from the festival.
So that's a shot of our marketplace there.
That's the pavilion, of course.
That's the pavilion, the marketplace, the front side of it. So we generally have this year, we have about 90 vendors that, like I said, that are from all over the country.
Okay, now we've seen some of the things for sale. Tell me about food. Are there going to be some African food items maybe I've never even heard of there?
Yes. So we have generally about 10 to 12. I think we're hovering at around 12 vendors, food vendors. So each vendor is selected, and what I mean by selected is kind of we don't want to saturate. So we don't want 10 vendors selling the same things.
Right.
So we try to make sure that we are picking vendors specifically to offer something different.
Just really quick, name one thing edible that I probably am not familiar with.
I think everything is edible.
No, I said that I'm not familiar with. That I wouldn't see at the mall, you know.
I would definitely say there is a Jamaican plantain that this particular restaurant comes, and they are a food vendor. and it generally is mixed into like vegetables. So you don't really notice that it's a banana, basically, but it is absolutely
I'll try
wonderful.
it.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of time left, but I know real quickly you have a lot of activities. I think you have a whole bunch of different sort of villages set up. What's that about?
So we have 5 different villages. So we have our health and wellness. We have our children's village that has activities throughout the day, book giveaways and things for children. We also have our art tent. We have a committee that actually goes around to all of these schools and gets children's art involved. We also have our cultural demonstration. So we have public speakers, other people from the community come out and talk publicly. And then, of course, we have our main stage.
What would you recommend for somebody that's never been before? How to get ready for it, to prepare for it, look into it? Anything they need to do ahead of time?
No, just come. And I promise you, when you get there, it's no different than any other festival.
And you're always looking for volunteers.
And we're always looking for volunteers. So this Saturday, we actually have a volunteer orientation at the St. Louis Public Library, Central Library, downtown, from 10:30 to noon. So we encourage anybody that's interested in becoming a volunteer and learning the inner workings of the festival, please come out.
So the Arts Festival, too, it doesn't matter if you're African, doesn't matter where your family's from, doesn't matter how old you are. This would be something for everybody, right?
This is something for everyone. All of the things that are sold in the festival, all of the things you can buy in the festival are unique. They're beautiful, and I think anybody that has any art bone or a cultural bone in their body would love just about everything there.
It's the African Arts Festival, May 28th through 30th at the World's Fair Pavilion in Forest Park. There you can go to the website and find out more. And of course, Gerald was on earlier, and the organization, the Heritage Foundation, does things all through the year. So it's not just the Arts Festival. People can get involved every month of the year if they want to.
They most certainly can. And like I said, we encourage people to get involved, becoming volunteers, helping out with the committee. We want everyone to be a part of this, and we want the city to continue to help push this thing forward. They're a big help.
I'll mention it to the mayor when I see her.
Yeah. Please do. We're working on that as well. So please do.
Jason McNairy, thank you so much, and have a wonderful time in Forest Park.
No, thank you. Look forward to seeing you out there.
I'll definitely go. I've never been, and so it's on my bucket list for sure. It's the St. Louis African Arts Festival coming up at the end of the month. I'm Steve Potter. Thanks for being part of City Corner. We'll see you in Forest Park. Bye-bye.